Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review match reaction from tonight's game, where it's finished Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, and quite frankly, I think that's 2 points dropped. I think we played well enough to win that game tonight, and we'll be kicking ourselves for not. Some people are saying that a 1-1 draw is a good result. For me, I think it's a bad result. I think we should have won that game. We played well enough all game, but again and again and again and again, it's us not taking our chances, and we end up getting stabbed in the back again. And, you know, the goal that we conceded, yes, Dubravka could have got a stronger hand on it, but the defending again is woeful. Lewis down the left-hand side, not being able to keep up with his man. Two central defenders going for one man in the 6-yard box, and Isaac Hayden standing watching Neves, and it's just not good enough. These kind of daft defensive decisions are what's going to cost us, and are costing us week after week and game after game, and it's not good enough, guys. It just isn't. We've got something going on there that's not quite right in the defense, and it needs to be put right, and put right very, very quickly. Keep your comments coming in, guys. You know, we've got quite a few people watching already, so let me know what you think, and should we have actually done better in that game, or should we have lost? You know, for me, I think we should have done a lot better. We've let ourselves down, quite frankly. And again, it's us to blame, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. And you know, I just think the defending has been so poor, and it's cost us badly. But let me know what you think. If you do enjoy the show tonight, do hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And obviously, super chats are open again. So if you'd like to donate, that would be very kind of you. I am trying to raise £500 or £600 for Parkinson's UK. So 80% of any super chats that you donate will be going to that charity, and 20% will be kept to keep the channel going. So thank you very much in advance for that. Let's start looking through some of your comments. Chipper says, I'm Foreman. We dominated the game for large parts and should have won. That simple as that. We should have. And that's what it really annoys me about tonight. You know, it's not about picking points up now. We need 3 points. We desperately need 3 points. We need 3 points from somewhere, and it's got to come bloody fast. And farting about with 1-1 draws is, quite frankly, not good enough in my eyes. It just isn't good enough. We should have won. And again, we've switched off for that brief second, like we've talked about week after week, and we've ended up being punished. Michael, good evening. Yet another game where we should have won. Poor defending cost us that goal more than Dubravka. Totally agree with you, Michael. And people need to realise that, you know, it was very, very poor defending. And Dubravka, I don't think he was expecting the header to come in. He wouldn't have expected Neves to be in so much space, quite frankly. Ethan says, good result, 1-1. I'd have taken that before the game. Same points as Brighton, 4 ahead of Fulham. Look at Fulham, Brighton's next fixtures. Can't see them getting much. We need around 4 to 6 from our next 3. Yes, Ethan, that's fine saying that, but we can't score goals. It's as simple as that without Callum Wilson. We struggle to score goals. You know, we should have had at least 2 or 3 in the first half. We missed some great opportunities. And yes, it was a brilliant header from Lascelles to give us the lead from a fantastic cross. But at the same time, not good enough. Ethan says, well, Shelby, man of the match, played well, can't fault him. Worst player on the pitch for me would be Lewis or Kraft. We have a serious problem at right or left back. There is no doubt about that. Right or left back is a major problem for Newcastle United Football Club. And you know, we haven't addressed that problem in the transfer window, and now we're getting kicked up the arse for it. Simple as that. You know, it's fact of the matter. You know, we've got 2 fullbacks who can't defend. You know, Emil Kraft, how many times was he done tonight? So many times. And Traore, this has been the problem with him all his career, really. People have said that he doesn't have that killer instinct for a final ball or final shot, and that came to fruition again tonight. He didn't. His final ball is terrible. If that was somebody with a decent final ball, we could have been punished numerous times tonight. So, in a way, we've been lucky. David says, Ian and Paul, I would love to come on your channel, try and get my confidence back. I'll try and get you on as soon as I can, David. At least you won't be angry. I'm not angry. I'm just frustrated tonight. I mean, you know, for me, we should have won the game. And that's the bottom line. You know, we should have won the game. And that's where the frustration kicks in more than anger. You know, I'm very disappointed that we didn't go on and win that game, because we played well enough to win it. And I'm sure that's what Steve Bruce will say at the end of the game. You know, that we did. There was a lot more positives tonight than the Man United game. You know, as in we almost put a full 90 minutes together. Not quite, because we switched off and conceded a goal. But it's them kind of things that are going to keep us in the league. You know, it's so tight down there. Jason says Fulham beat Palace and it's cut to 1 point. Exactly. The pressure is really on. And, you have to worry about our defending. It's not good enough. Geordie, even in all, in my opinion, 2 points dropped. Thought we played well, but a 1-1 result is a bad result, in my opinion. But we will have to see what happens tomorrow in terms of the Fulham match. Exactly. Let's not panic just yet, guys. There's still a decent way to go. We are starting to pick up our performances, but like I've said before 1,000 times this week, it's now come to the stage of the season where points are much more important than performance. And people could come on to me as much as they want to say, yeah, but we played well. We did this, we did that. I don't care. The bottom line is I need to see some points going on the board here and not performance. I'd rather just play shite and a goal going off somebody's backside and we win 1-0. That's the stage we're at now. Sickly Cloud says, should have been 2 bloody up by half time. Yes, we should have. And again, it's all about taking chances. And knowing that we have a really risky defence, we have to take chances much more. Ethan says, great team performance. Should have done better overall, but it's something to build on. We can't build on, Ethan. We need performances. We need results now, not performances. We need results. Brian says, Bruce 1980s training injury after injuries. This needs addressing because now Maxi looks like he's got a groin injury and that doesn't heal up very quickly. Hopefully with Almiron, it's just a knock. But the bottom line is we are getting far too many injuries. And what is going on at the club that we are picking so many up? Steve Bruce will come out and say, it's because we're playing a lot of games. It boils down to training facilities. We haven't got good enough training facilities for these players to recover from injuries. And that's where we take a massive hit. Maxime Fraser injured is a bigger loss than 2 points dropped. Fraser isn't injured as he hits Almiron. Bolam says, hopefully Maxima and Almiron just have knocks. Yeah, we can only keep fingers crossed. It's massively worrying me, to be honest, these injuries, because we shouldn't be having this many. And it's all about being able to recover from injuries. And we can't do that. Players are coming back and getting injured straight away. And it's a massive, massive problem at Newcastle United because the training facilities are so poor. Eric said, I thought Ryan Fraser had an immediate impact. What does he need to get a start? Well, exactly. I mean, for me, Ryan Fraser we haven't seen the full potential of Ryan Fraser yet. And he needs some starts and runs in games, and he's not getting them at the minute. So, he came on, he had an immediate impact tonight. He did well, I thought. But again, it's just the way it goes. Kenneth says, Wolves, would you believe it's smash and grab? Wolves could have won it. Dubravka, whether you say it was a lucky save or a brilliant save, it was what was needed at the end. He did flick his body around, so it was, for me, it was a brilliant save. And that could have been 2-1 to Wolves, and we are right in the shit. Jason says, how Joelinton gets a game is beyond me. You feel if Gale was on instead, or even Carroll, then we would have converted some of them chances. I've had it with Joelinton. I really have. I mean, he had some shots on goal tonight, but if you look at every single shot, it's straight down the middle of the goal. I mean, the one in the second half from the penalty spot, for me, is just a joke. I mean, he gets the ball. He's got time to think about where he's going to put it. And again, he puts it straight down the middle. Put it in the bloody corner. Belt the ball into the corner where nobody can block it on the line, and it goes in the back of the net, and we win the game. We win the game. Anybody else there would have scored. I'm pretty certain of it. And I've had it with Joelinton now. I really have. I can't be arsed with him anymore. Luke says, I'm glad Dubes is back, but he was unlucky with that goal, and I thought we had that game, but yeah, we switched off. And we've been guilty of that so many times. So many times. Colin says, never want to see Joelinton in the shirt again. And if Almiron and ASM are out for a while, we're doomed. Yeah, we are. We need to see what comes back from them injuries. Joelinton is a joke. Totally agree, Paul. As Benno says, I just wonder what sort of staff Bruce has in his team. The amount of muscle injuries we pick up are genuinely shocking. It seems like we're the only club that picks up these muscle injuries. I mean, a lot of managers complain about the amount of games, etc., etc. But to be honest, come on, let's be honest here. We pick up so many muscle injuries. It's beyond a joke now. Taylor says, if Maxi and Miggy are out next week versus West Brom, we're in the shit. I'm hoping that Almiron is just a knock. I think he took a knock to his knee. But with Maxi, it could be a different kettle of fish because That looked like a groin muscle injury, and groin muscles are they don't recover very quickly. Jody says, how many chances did Joelinton have to score? Had Wilson have played, I dare to say that he would have finished those chances. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed with one of them in the second half when I think he took a ball from Shelby, which was a little bit on the high side. He brought it down well and hit it with his left first time. But again, it's straight at the goalkeeper, and this is the difference between quality strikers and players that are just bang average for me. Brian says, best chance of the game, and it had to fall to Slowly Linton. Exactly. I mean, the best chance of the game, you want somebody there who is confident in front of goal and is just going to slide that into the corner. And Bob's your uncle. It's 2-1. We win the game. But it had to fall to him, didn't it? It really did. Why leave 2 strikers on the bench, says Steve. Well, that's a question that Steve Bruce needs to answer. Gordon, good evening. Even first half, not too bad. Second half, same old Newcastle. I thought we were a little bit better than we were at Man United, Gordon, certainly in the second half. I don't think we put our heads down this time. It would have been interesting if, Wolves had scored first, as to say, would our heads have dropped then? Maybe so. But it was good. We didn't. And we kept going. And, we did sort of die off towards the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, which was a bit worrying. It was, squeaky bum time, as Alex Ferguson liked to say. But we kept going. And I took a lot from that. And I saw players out there who have been given a lot of stick to actually put in performances tonight. Ethan said, bring in Murphy and Dummett for our next match. Let's also hope the injuries aren't too bad. We can only hope. Better wingers, says Kaylee. I mean, Fraser's all right. I think Fraser needs to run in the side, to be honest. He's never had a real strong run in the side yet. Paul says, first half was good, second half a mess. The second half's a problem at the minute, aren't they? They're becoming a bit of a problem. And we'll look all right in certain matches, but it's about playing a full 90 minutes. And at the minute, we're just not doing that. So that's a bigger worry to me than anything else, is the fact that we're not putting it out there for 90 minutes. Eric says, Kraft isn't just Premier League level. It's not his fault, really. It cost us about a tenner by today's market value. Yeah, but who's going for these players? Who's scouting these players? Who the hell scouted Joelinton to think he was worth 40 million quid? That is a problem at our club that has been there for such a bloody long time, and it needs to be eradicated from the club. We need people in our club who have got sensible heads on and can actually scout players who are going to do a job and going to be decent for the club, because at the moment we don't have that at all. I've got no faith in our scouting network. Bringing in players like Kraft, Joelinton, it's not good enough, man. Absolutely not. Ken says, how many chances 12 yards out with the goal at your mercy can a team not finish? Any corner would have done, and it's in no but straight at the keeper. Unbelievable. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the point. The guy doesn't have any confidence in front of goal. But to be fair, it wasn't just Joelinton that missed opportunities tonight. We had big chances to win this game. Miggy got a breakaway in the first half and hit the post. Should he have done a bit better? Maybe so. We had the Maxi goal, which was offside, which was unlucky because Willock should have scored. Again, too close to the keeper, far enough in the corners, and it's in the back of the net. So do we put it down to training? Is the training not working? Because we're not finishing. We're not confident in front of goal. These chances that we're getting should be buried, and they're not being buried. So it raises the question as to what we're doing in training sessions. It's not rocket science. Ken says, Ashley only has himself to blame if we go down. The man is a moron. How on earth is he still a billionaire? God knows. As Bono said, I've said it for years. Those who know me will back me up. Manquillo is our best right back and quite simply a brilliant defender. Not the best going forward, but he's a defender, not a win. I agree with that. I've always liked Manquillo. I think he's come on leaps and bounds since he signed for the club. That's a certainty. I didn't think, when he first signed, I wasn't really excited about him. But, I think the time he's had out of the side has just proved how much we need him back in and how bad Emil Kraft is. Jason says, if we've lost Miggy and ASM as well as Wilson, then the season is done. I reckon there will be no one to attack. It does worry you, certainly if Maximan's out. Like I say, I'm hoping that Miggy's injury isn't too bad. Maybe it's just swelling or bruising off the knock he took on his knee, and he could be okay in a couple of days. Fingers crossed. But with the ASM, like I said, he was holding his groin. He couldn't really straighten his leg up when he was walking off the pitch. That was what sort of signaled to me that this is pretty bad. And he says, Kraft's dreadful and Traore really should have taken advantage of him. Played well in the second half for once. And after the goal, still pressed and tried. A lot of positives, but need to pick up points quickly. Yeah, there is positives coming from these games. And, certain players getting better. Now, Kelly said there that Shelvey needs to retire. I thought Shelvey was good tonight. I mean, not brilliant, not magnificent, but he was good. I think he put himself about a lot more tonight. I think he got stuck in the tackles, which is something that we have blamed Shelvey of in the past. He did well. He put a brilliant through ball for Almiron to hit the post. He should have scored maybe. So, I've been on Shelvey's back a lot in the last few weeks, and so have a lot of people. But I've always said that I'll hold my hands up to players if they've done okay. And I think they've played all right. And I think tonight Shelvey was in the game a lot more than he wasn't. So he was a lot better than normal. Michael says, struggling to see how we'll be good attacking if Miggy and ASM are out. Fraser needs to show more on both sides of the ball. Which is why I think Fraser needs to get some games. David said, yeah, Paul, I agree. I was aware with everything you're feeling right now, that we liability at the bottom, left back and right back. I understand where you're coming from. Stephen says, Shelvey out the club and Bruce needs to be sacked. I'm not going to have a go at Shelvey tonight. I'm really not. I mean, I know I've jumped on the bandwagon of criticising John Joe Shelvey so many times this season, but not tonight. I thought he was one of our better players tonight. And I will say how I see it. I've been very, very critical of John Joe Shelvey in recent weeks. But tonight I thought he was a lot more in the game. Taylor says, so lads, where are we finishing based on that performance? God only knows, mate. It's going to be a real hike to the end of the season. It's going to be like climbing Everest, to be honest. We need to be switched on. And, this game next week and the week after, we're playing sort of Villa, we're playing West Brom, we're playing Brighton. We've got to get something from these games. Brighton look awful at the minute. But we said that about Sheffield United when we went there and we lost. So we have no right to say that we can go and win the game at Brighton just because they're having an awful time of it. Because we said that against Sheffield United, we ended up with egg on our faces. So this is going to be a tight run-in. Let's not just deny the fact of it. It's going to be a very, very hard run-in. We have got some very big games coming up. Fulham have some harder games on paper, without a doubt. But the bottom line is, we have no right to say we're going to win any games either. And, so Chipper says Fulham win tomorrow and people say a draw is a good result. I don't think a draw is a good result. I don't understand how, people will have their opinions and say, yes, I thought it was a good result. I don't know where they're getting that from, to be honest. I really don't. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, do hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Lots of live streams and recordings, and it's some great shows on this channel. And also, I am available for super chats if you want to donate to the channel. 80% will go to Parkinson's UK and 20% goes to the channel. The 80% of Parkinson's, I'm trying to raise £500 to £600 for them for what they've done for me since I was diagnosed. As Benno says, Fulham will beat a poor Palace side who are without Zaha tomorrow, and they will be 1 point behind us with a much better goal difference. It's a worry. From our next 12 games, we need 14 points to stay up. I think we'll need around 10 points to stay up. I don't know, Ethan. I can't second guess anything at the minute, if I'm honest. I don't want to second guess. I think we need to work out. We need to get 3 points. We need 3 points from somewhere. Kaylee says, absolutely play shy, but take the fucking points, man. Yeah, exactly. I agree there. I don't care if we play absolute garbage, but we win the game. I want my club to stay in the Premier League. I believe this club is a big Premier League club, a sleeping giant, if you like, where it's just awaiting somebody to take the reins who wants to have success and build the club up from the ground. When or if new owners come in, then I want them just to really demolish the place. Hypothetically speaking, demolish it and build it up from the ground again. And then see where we go from there. That's all we can do. And that's, to me, I would rather see a slow build up with new owners than be struggling in relegation all the time. Bruce will be jumping for joy at the point. He probably will be, to be fair. We haven't lost the game. So I think he'd be more happier than he is disappointed. David says, I think John Joe Shelvey saves Bruce's job tonight. I wouldn't go that far, David, but, he was decent. Trull says, isn't my saying good enough since you do not read them? Yeah. Never mind getting bitchy, Trolls. Kenny says, need better training facilities. Man of the match was Shelby, best player on the pitch. He was good tonight, and you know it's about time though, isn't it? You know what we need from John Joe is to see that kind of performance week in, week out now between now and the end of the season. That will please me. Ken says, "My God, with all those chances tonight, Sheeran Beasley would have had a hat trick. Of course they would, definitely." Steve Bruce F off clueless fraud. Geordie says, look at the injury record of Bruce's previous clubs while he was there, and it's clear to see that it is a Brucey problem. I haven't had a look. I will have a check of that, Geordie, because obviously it'd be interesting to find out. I know, you know, we've heard ex-players telling us about what his training's like and how poor it is. And maybe it's just all catching up now that is, you know, modern day footballers, you know, the training methods that Steve Bruce have are completely inadequate to what they need to be. Michael says, good to see Shelby having a good game. That should be minimum standard. Exactly. Paul, injury bollocks. If they train for 5 days instead of 3, their fitness level will be higher without a shadow of a doubt. No doubt about it. This 3 days training is not working and Steve Bruce can't see it. David says, Ethan, wake up and smell the coffee, man. You need to wake up, honestly, because you're in Coca-Cola and what time. Hey, the bottom line is everyone's going to have an opinion, you know, and Ethan is very, very positive, and I'm not going to take that positivity out of him. It's basically everybody's view on things, and Ethan is pretty confident that we'll stay up. He's confident we're going to get the points. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being confident. He's a fan just like the rest of us. Kaylee says, Ethan 9, absolutely effing not. He's clueless. Let everybody have their opinion, guys. We can talk about it in a good way, you know. But if people want to be sort of up for it and happy and, you know, very positive about certain things, then that's fine. Ian says best player was Almiron. We were a different team, then he went off. Yeah, I mean Miggy was brilliant again, wasn't he? I mean the running off the ball, the running back, winning the ball, defending. He was just all over the pitch again. And Miggy is, well, he's Miggy, isn't he? I mean that's what he does. Since he's been moved into the number 10 role, it's been just. His form has been completely different for the better. So that's why Miggy needs to stay as our number 10. I predicted a 1-1 draw. Well done. Sickly Cloud says, how Willock didn't score, I have no idea. Exactly. Michael says, spot on about training facilities. That's where takeover money needs to go alongside academy before any transfers it goes through. If it does go through, yeah, I think the academy is somewhere that needs to be looked at, but definitely the training ground, without a doubt. You know, we hear about all these other clubs and they've got cryogenic facilities on muscle recoveries for players and things like that. We have feckin' wheelie bins, you know what I mean? We have wheelie bins with ice in them. I mean, and paddling pools. You know, come on. This is Newcastle United. We're a Premiership team. And we're getting laughed at. You know, Leicester City have just opened a magnificent training facility. Liverpool, who, you know, who used Melwood for so long, but they wanted to progress their training facilities as well, even though they'd won the league. It's all about progression and wanting to do better. And they have state-of-the-art facilities now. We have fucking weenie bins. I mean, it's not good enough. And, you know, players are coming back saying they're fit when really they're not 100% fit. It's you know, they might feel fit, but they're clearly not. But these state-of-the-art facilities would be able to see that. David says Max has just come back from an injury, and that's what worries me. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you never know if Max is 100% fit anywhere. You know, for months and months now, we just don't know if St. Maximan is fit. Michael says, need a fundraiser page to raise money to release Joelinton. I'll donate to that. H says we need Thick Boy Wilson back. Yeah, without a doubt. GoFundMe for SM, guys. And Fulham will catch us. I can see it happening. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's try and stay positive. You know, it's 2 points dropped tonight. I'm fully convinced of that. We should have won the game, but we played for more than a half. You know, we did perform decently in the second half as well. So, you know, we've got to take that as a bonus. We fell asleep last 15 minutes of the game, though, and we could have easily lost it. But by the by, Brian says the ground is awful. You've seen the pics of ice baths and bins and kids' pools. Exactly. It's terrible. It's one of the worst. And I think even some non-league teams have better facilities than what Newcastle United do. Thanks for your comment, Steve. Taylor says, anyone else realise since Hendrick has been out, we should have won each one? Yeah, but the bottom line is, Taylor, we haven't won, have we? You know, and that's what I'm really frustrated about tonight, the fact that we haven't won again. And we've, you know, if I'm honest, we deserve to win that game tonight based on, 75 minutes. Without a shadow of a doubt, we were the better team. But again, we just, slip into a kind of slumber for the last 15. Wolves certainly with a better team in the last 15 minutes and could have snuck a win. And we'd only have ourselves to blame, shooting ourselves in the foot again. Luke says, I say let's Jones run the team. Yeah, I've said that last week. Michael, need to work on fitness as we drop off all the time. But again, is it down to the 3 games? The 3 training sessions, 3 days? Or is it because we don't have the facilities for these players just to, get proper sort of warm downs like massages and go into the training ground the day after a match and be able to relax in saunas and ice baths and everything that they need. These cryogenic facilities are available now. A lot of football clubs are way ahead of us, way ahead when it comes to facilities available to players. Jay says Wolves were there for the taking. Yeah, I said that in the first half when I was doing the watch along. Ethan says can't see Fulham catching us. Same with Brighton. Should we pass them? They've had a run of hard games. If we have harder fixtures, I'd look to our situation in a different way. Well, only time will tell, Ethan. Only time will tell. Andrew says our keeper just need time to get him back in full flow. He was in full flow. He would have saved it. But who was marking Neves? That's what I said. What we have to take into consideration here is, Dubravka's played 1 game in the FA Cup this season. He's been out the whole season with a serious injury. Okay. Now, you can maybe say he should have got a stronger hand on that shot. And yeah, I agree. He should have. But Neves should never have been allowed to get the header in the first place. Lewis was beaten far too easy. The cross came in. Lascelles and Clark go to one man, the same man. And that should not happen. Neves is around 2 yards away from Hayden, who just seems to just look at Neves and then realizes that he's the defender that's going to have to mark Neves. And by the time Hayden gets there, Neves has stuck the ball in the net. I'm not blaming Dubravka at all for that goal because I don't think he should have had to make the save in the first place because the defending, again, we switch off for that brief second and we are punished. And we are getting punished every week by silly little mistakes at the back and poor defending. And that's where we need to analyse is why are we so poor like that? Why do we switch off? Matthew said, this is what frustrates me most. There's a majority of fans when we score a goal, go mental, act like we're going to win the league, and then we concede and they go apeshit with the team. You're always going to get fans like that, Matthew. If Fulham win tomorrow, people we've seen that one, and Wolves were absolutely awful for at least 60 minutes. Game should have been dead and buried. Totally true, Jake. And again, it's our fault. We didn't win the game because we weren't good enough. We weren't good enough to finish our chances, and we blew the opportunity. I thought when I looked at the team sheet, I thought, wow, he's going with Kraft and Lewis. I said in my review video that I would be happy for Lewis to play because I felt we needed the pace with Traore. However, Traore started the game on the other side. So Nuno had obviously been looking at that and thought, right, we'll put Traore against Emil Kraft. And, Traore ripped him a new one every 5 minutes on that pitch tonight. It just so happens that Traore's final ball is not good enough and we got away with it. But had it been somebody with an eye for a cross or an eye for a final pass or whatever it may be, we could have been punished a lot worse. Thanks, Jules. You too, mate. Ginger says, how does a 5'3" winger beat Lascelles in the air for that goal? He was in the box, ball watching, can't blame the keeper. The 2 central defenders were ball watching on one man. They went to one man and left Neves. And then because Hayden's the last man, then he switches onto the situation too late. By the time he gets there, Neves has already scored. Ethan says, shouldn't just focus on Joelinton, Willock, Maxi, Hayden, Miggy all miss good chances. Just a shame that Joe's £40 million price tag makes him the villain. It's not about his price tag anymore, Ethan. We've said this so many times. I don't care if he was worth 4 million or 40. He's not good enough. He just isn't good enough. And yes, other players missed opportunities tonight, but that one on the penalty spot, that could have been 3 crucial points for Newcastle tonight. And, the fact is that every single shot he had tonight went straight down the middle. And he just can't. You cannot do that in the Premier League. He's not good enough. John says, our number 1 keeper has just cost us 3 points. I don't agree with that, John. I'm sorry. I do respect your opinion, obviously, as well, as you're a regular at the show, but I don't agree with that comment. I think our defenders have cost us 3 points tonight because they switched off again. And something needs doing about that because we keep switching off and we keep conceding silly goals. Dubravka, for me, he's been out all season. Give him a few games and he'll be back up to match pace. And, you can't just expect him to come in and be fantastic again. He's been out all season. Jay says, don't think you can blame the keeper for that goal. No, I'm not. Definitely not. Kay says, need to make them the theme tune to her ringtone. I might do that. It's a joy. So, well, I mean, it's terrible we didn't win, but I suppose it's another point on the board. Isaac Hayden, got to love the guy. The effort he puts in is sublime. The only thing that worries me about Isaac Hayden is his bookings, because he picked the booking up after 18 minutes tonight. And, that could have, the way Traore was ripping us a new one every time he came forward. I was thinking, oh, God, he's going to trick Hayden into making a tackle. He's not going to get there when he's going to concede a penalty, a free kick or a penalty and get a red card. But he didn't. Ginger says, F off, John. Let's be nice to everybody. Should have cleared that. Lascelles is to blame. He watched it go in. Could have tried marking his man. I just think the defence was all over the place for the goal. Fulham was 10 points away from us not so long ago. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying about performances, John. I'd rather see points on the board now than performances. We need to have points. And we need to pull ourselves away from this awful situation that we're in. And the only way we're going to do that is by getting 3 points in a match. And we blew it tonight. Even though we played okay, we played decent, we still didn't get the 3 points. Jason, the Kraft shot from 30 yards was on target. And just imagine the scenes that went in. King Kraft for the day. Yeah, we would have all been out with seats had that gone in. But unfortunately, it didn't. And we're left in the same situation. I just don't think Emil Kraft is any good. Jake, most players did themselves credit except Joelinton. Joelinton wasn't rubbish tonight. He did all right. He did for spells of the game, but he offers us nothing going forward. That's the worry. When we play him on the right-hand side, I just think we're playing with 10 men. I really do. Jody says, who's the man of the match tonight? I'd have to give it to John Joe. And I never thought I'd say that this time last week, but I will. I'll give it to John Joe Shelby. I thought he was much, much better tonight. And that's what we need to see from him moving forward. We can't rely on John Joe just to turn up for one game in 6. He's got to be at the races every single game now. That's the important thing for us. And if he's not at the races every game, then, the midfield suffers. And I just don't want us to suffer like that. Yes, our keeper pull off a good save, but is that not what he is there for? Yeah, he is. But let's have a look at the defending. Stephen says, just want Bruce out now. How do we donate, please? If you just click the there should be a dollar button somewhere at the bottom of the chat. That's how you can donate a super chat to the channel. Ethan says, Fulham lose tomorrow, surely people will be more confident. Probably, yes. If Fulham do win tomorrow, then I'll certainly be more confident. Paul, thank you very much for the super chat. You're very, very kind, mate. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Brian says, we need an owner like Abramovich who's ruthless. In a way, yes, I can see where you're coming from with that, Brian. We do need a ruthless owner, but also one who's going to, give the manager a chance with money. A new manager, by the way, not Steve Bruce. Who's had over £100 million to spend, and we end up being 4th off bottom at the minute. So yeah, I'm disappointed. But ruthless is a big word. I think more calculating and more positive and more ambitious. Really, we need an owner who's ambitious. West Brom is a must-win with no excuses. Damn right it is. With a shadow of a doubt. Train son Bruce says you can't coach how to finish chances. He can't coach full stop. 100% agree. That's a very, very good quote right there. You can coach how to finish. These are the type of crap that Steve Bruce is coming out with on a weekly basis. And it's just all balls. He's talking absolute bollocks. You get them at the end of the training session and you get them to have shots in the goal. Practice finishing. Steve says, love to see Carroll and Gale up front against West Brom. I don't think he'll dare. Emma says, Wolves there for the taking, but how many times this season has that happened? And we haven't finished them off. Too many, Emma, to be honest. Far too many. The thing is, we've come up against a lot of teams this season who we've truly believed that are there for the taking. The likes of Sheffield United, when we played Brighton at home, we all said that these were going to be victories for Newcastle United. We were very confident going into them. And we came out looking like fools. We got hammered at home by Brighton, who've been garbage ever since. And we lost to Sheffield United. And these results are results that could cost us at the end of the day. I hope not. I really do hope not. But, you know, if we go to Fulham on the last game of the season and we're 2 points behind them, or a point behind them, we could be looking at tonight's match and thinking, oh, remember the Wolves game when we drew 1-1? We dominated most of the game and we should have won. And that's how it goes when you're in a relegation battle. Thanks very much, Kenneth. Really appreciate that, mate. Kendo says, Bruce says he fears the worst for Miggy, given he's not one to normally come off. Yeah, I'm worried about Miggy, but I hope, like I said earlier, I hope it's just a knock on his knee that's maybe got a lot of bruising or swelling on it at half time. And that should, you know, come down a bit in the next couple of days. Maximan I'd probably worry about more with a groin injury. End of the day, a point was not enough. It was either win or lose. A point is not going to do anything at all at this stage of the season. I quite agree. Good evening, Lee. We didn't lose. We drew 1-1, my man. We didn't lose. You know, for once. I know we're used to losing, but we didn't, buddy. Case is all I have to say is fingers crossed for the next game. And Lee's putting himself right there. Well done. Yeah, I do. I think the next game against West Brom next Sunday is massive. It's absolutely massive. And, you know, we talk about big games in a season, and we've talked about this one being the Dino Derby, you know, two dinosaurs when you've got Allardyce pitting himself against Steve Bruce. But it's all about how the players respond, what sort of team we're able to put out next week. We can't go defensive. We just can't. Because if we go defensive, we will let West Brom come onto us and West Brom will probably win the game. That's just how I've seen it throughout the season, really. Thanks, Geordie. We appreciate that, my man. You know, we look at the players that started that game tonight. Was it a team good enough to beat Wolves? Yes, I do believe that. Not the defender, not the fullbacks. I'm not talking about the fullbacks here. I'm talking about the strikers. Our forward line was good enough to beat Wolves, and we should have been 2 or 3 up by half time. And that's what's let us down. Dave says, I see that Savage and Sutton have finally admitted that the fans were right and we are in a relegation fight. I haven't seen that, Dave, but it's nice to know. Kaylee says, Michael Hastings, I absolutely agree. We need the training facilities. Lee says, have you watched All or Nothing, Man City and Spurs? Put Ashley and Bruce to shame. I haven't watched them. I've seen little clips of the Spurs one. I did watch a little bit of the Man City one. And yes, they're just completely different managers. That's how a manager should be. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is. John says the wheelies take the piss. Yeah, I mean, wheelie bins. It's just, for a Premier League football side, is embarrassing. Michael says, don't know how Bruce thinks 3 days of training will help our team get any better in any aspect. Clearly not enough time spent on the training ground on fitness and tactics. Again, correct. Jake says, wheelie bins and paddling pools suit Bruce. Yeah, it just suits Mike Ashley, to be honest, Jake, because this is what happens when you have an owner like Mike Ashley who just doesn't care, doesn't understand how football works. He's not in the mindset of actually doing anything for the football team. All he's in a mindset of doing is making money, and we just lack the facilities to keep our players fit. And it's sad, really. It's really sad. My God, Bruce, after interview blaming players, this club is a mess. I haven't seen it because I've been on here, Brian, and I tend not to listen to him. I just pick up what's being said on social media. I really hope he hasn't blamed the players, because I thought the players were decent tonight. Craig says Wolves should have won that. Yeah, they should have in the last 15 minutes, but they should have been 3 or 4 down by the time that the last 15 minutes came around. You know, the Wolves definitely should have snuck it at the end, which would have been our own fault, undoubtedly. However, for 75 minutes, Newcastle United were the better side, and I do feel that by half-time, we should have been 2 or 3 goals up, the opportunities that we had. We didn't take them, and we almost got badly punished yet again, which has been the story of our season. Jody says, doesn't matter how good or bad we play, it's all about getting those 3 points now and getting away from the bottom 3. Exactly. Will, hi, mate. I think it's going to go to the last day. If the required players aren't back, by then we're going down. It's such a shame. It's a shame for the fan base and the whole city of Newcastle, really, if that happens. It'll be massively sad for everybody. Michael says, lively performance, but still not good enough. Draws no good. Sack Bruce and get a few wins nailed on. I do think a new manager bounce would help us. I agree with Ethan. I think, Graham Jones, I think, should just get the job now till the end of the season. I've said in my shows last week that I believe Steve Bruce has got till the international break. And if we haven't really picked up anything by then, the man is out the door. I genuinely, truly believe that. And I hope that's, but is it too late? I guess, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. When it comes too late like that, it all goes down the Swanee. Steve Bruce has that's the point. He's got the safest job in football. You know, it doesn't seem like the pressure's on him at all from the top, and it should be. Joelinton plays like he puts his legs on backwards. But then John Richards says Joelinton played well tonight. He was okay. I don't think he played well. He's not a good enough footballer for me, John. But again, value your opinion. Matthew says Dubravka looked solid in goal tonight. That's what we need. Darlow looked like a pile of shite sitting on the bench. I think Dubravka will be disappointed with the goal. I genuinely think he will be. I'm not blaming him in any shape or form because I don't think it was Dubravka's fault. I think the defending was rank bad again. You know, from the fullback to the central defenders moving across to one man, leaving Neves where he was. Hayden should have been more switched on to go out to him. By the time he got there, the ball was in the net, and it's shade. Totally shade. David says, I've just watched his press conference. He says Miggy is in a bad way, and so is ASM. That is not what we want to hear right now. Ken says Rafa shouted from the rooftops that the training facilities needed to be brought up to Premier League standard and was shut down. Now it seems you reap what you sow. And like Rafa said, it was needed 5 years ago. And exactly. I mean, these players are getting injured for a reason. You know, it all seems to be muscle injuries and things like that. And it's got to have something to do with the facilities. Yep, just disagreeing with John there. Jordy says 19 shots and 7 on target. We surely have to be doing more with those chances. That's what I'm on about. You know, we need to do more with them chances. It's opportunities that are slipping away from us all the time. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, you know, we until Wilson's back, you know, have we got the the forward players to do the job and win us football matches? I'm not so sure. Joelinton can't be defended anymore. He's clearly not good enough. I mean, I've said that a lot of times, but that's Joelinton's stats that came out tonight, that he's gone 1,200 minutes between goals. I mean, come on, guys. You know, I know a lot of people out there like to defend Joelinton, but sometimes it's indefensible. It really is. Martin says, not just the night Joelinton being crap for 18 months. Carroll and Gale must be fed up being on benched for him to play. Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're the likes of Andy Carroll and you Dwight Gale and you're looking thinking, how is Joelinton ahead of me on the pitch? How is that even possible? It must be heart-wrenching for them. It really, really must be heart-wrenching. I couldn't imagine sitting there knowing that I've got a better talent than him, and I'm sitting on my arse every week watching him lose the ball and miss chances that really... I mean, if that chance tonight for Joelinton comes up and bites us in the arse, it's going to put the pressure on him even more. It really is, because he should have scored. It's awful. It just is. Ryan says Murphy and Fraser need to start if ASM and Almiron are injured for a while. Yeah, I mean, Murphy came on tonight and I thought he did all right. He had a few good runs, and that's what Murphy gives you. Murphy is a threat because you don't know if he's going to go wide. You don't know if he's going to cut in. And, you know, I genuinely believe Jacob Murphy can hurt a lot of teams. He's always been like that, in my opinion. Come on, lads and lasses, show Paul some love and donate. I'm not pressuring anyone to donate. Don't worry, Paul. It's fine. I mean, I'm new to all this super chat stuff. You know, like I say, I said way before I got 1,000 subscribers that if I ever got the super chat facility, I would give back to Parkinson's UK, because since I got diagnosed in 2015, they've been magnificent with me. So anything I can make is a bonus. I'm trying to aim for 500 to 600 or as much as I can for Parkinson's. From tomorrow night, I'm also going to put my PayPal address on in the comments, pin it to the comments, just if people want to donate that way, because I know there's been comments about YouTube taking 30%, which they're entitled to. It's their company. They've got to make money somehow. So I don't mind that, to be honest. But thank you to everyone anyway. You know, whether you donate or not, it doesn't matter. Super chat facility is there for all YouTubers who've got over 1,000, just to help them out, try and make a bit of money from it. This is my full-time job because I can't work because of the illness, obviously. So I've put in a lot of money to this, and you know, this is my full-time job, basically. John says Alan Shearer would show Joelinton how to finish. Yeah, but he's not welcome at the club, is he? That's the problem. Kendo, we have some must-win games coming up with our key players, because from April we hit Man City, Liverpool, Leicester, Arsenal before the 6-point of relegation dogfights. Isn't that just frightening to know that we've still got to play those guys? Jesus. Stephen, thank you very much for the donation, mate. £5. I really do appreciate that. You're a star. Lee says, get someone like Shearer to come into the club and spend some time learning players how to take chances well enough. That's how you coach players to take chances. Yeah, but the relationship that Alan Shearer has with Mike Ashley is going to be nowhere near our club, unfortunately. Kaylee said, it's letting me do. Where else can I do it? I'm not sure. You can do it from, I don't know if I'm honest. I haven't read much into it. Taylor says, if we beat West Brom and Tottenham, beat Burnley tomorrow, we will be above Burnley. Yes, we will. But I think Burnley Burnley have shown to me a bit more fight than what Newcastle have at the minute. And that's, where else can I donate? You can donate to my PayPal, which is simply Ditchy_1276 at iCloud.com. That's Ditchy, which is DITCHY_1276 at iCloud.com. That is my PayPal email address if you want to donate that way. I'll put it on the pinned comments from starting on Monday night's Four Horsemen show. Thomas says if we don't win versus West Brom, yeah, it's becoming more and more of a massive game, to be honest, and a little bit scary. James says we're at the business end of the season. We can't afford to make stupid mistakes. 2 points dropped. Totally agree. Jay says hopefully Manquillo back for next week. I'm praying he's back next week. Toon fan says hello, Kelly. Right, how you doing? Paley Prowlock, good evening to you, my man. Go and subscribe to him, one of my Four Horsemen. Just recently hit 1,000 subscribers as well, doing really well. So please go and follow PD Prowlock's channel. Miggy and Willock should have scored in the first half. Bloody ball watching again for the equaliser. Wolves weren't that great. Summed it up really well. I mean, Wolves weren't that great. The last 15 minutes, they turned it on a little bit, but we lost Maxi and Almiron by then, and our forward line was a bit shot to pieces by then. You know, we're relying on Joelinton to come up with something, and that ain't going to happen, which is just the situation we find ourselves in right now. Matthew says, I agree, everyone has their own opinion, but there's some absolute deranged fans out there who need a reality check. That's the same for any club, to be honest, Matthew. You'll always get the fans who disagree with what you say. Lee says, then wheelie bins are a good idea, though, Paul. You can shove Joelinton in one and take the rubbish out. Yeah, but unfortunately, the one with Joelinton in seems to survive every week. David said he did blame the players. He said goalkeepers should have done better. How dare he come out and say that about Dubravka? I mean, would he have said that about Darlow? I'm not too sure. That's really pissed me off, knowing he said that about Dubravka. I think he needs to take a look at his defending and how that ball ended up with Neves getting the freedom of St. James's Park to head that home. He should be looking at his left back, his central defenders. Why were we ball watching? Why weren't we switched on to where players were in the box as per feckin' usual? PD says, also it looks like Lascelles is actually exposed for what Steve Bruce really is in his interview. That's interesting. I'll have to have a look at that. Jake says it isn't acceptable for Newcastle United to be voiding of relegation of any kind of success. Exactly. Steve Bruce. It all boils down to Steve bloody Bruce. NFC United High Paul thought we did well for the first 35 minutes. Let Wolves come into it after that and showed glimpses second half. Thought Shelby played well. Fullback's a major problem and need to sort that out. It is a major problem. I'd probably put Dummett back at left back next week. I know Dummett's lost a bit of pace, but I'm sorry. Lewis is a liability. Emil Kraft shouldn't be anywhere near the starting lineup. I mean, if he's going to play Matt Ritchie there, play Matt Ritchie there. I don't care. I just want somebody else than Kraft there because, he's absolutely garbage, isn't he? Come on. Taylor says Darlow wouldn't have saved that shot. Possibly not. And I don't know why Steve Bruce is actually having a go at Dubravka. James says Lascelles said we definitely deserve more. We were the better team and had a lot of chances. We need to do better in front of goal. We had plenty of good chances. He's right. But again, he said this after the Chelsea game, after the Man United game. We need to take a lot of chances. We deserve more. We were the better team. At the end of the day, the results will always be the results. Whether we played well or played poorly, it's 2 points dropped for me. And that's just the sad reality of life at Newcastle at the minute. Steve Bruce press comments, we are disappointed with the missed chances, and at this level you don't get bundles of them. But we did get bundles of them tonight, Steve. We got bundles of chances and we didn't take them. Kendo says Willock didn't track back and Hayden didn't get touch tight enough for the header. It was just an all-round bad goal to concede. Dubravka was more vocal than Steve Bruce, exactly, and that's why I want Dubravka back. Jailer's our best right back. JL. If you're talking about Jamal Lewis, he's left back. Lewis getting dragged inside and not being able to get to the crosser on time cost us the goal. I just think he's just so slow. He was beaten far too easy tonight on numerous occasions, as was Emil Kraft, to be honest. Steve Bruce names Richie at fault for failure to carry out instructions and Dubravka for the save. You can see Bruce telling someone to F off. Well, Steve Bruce needs his head right. He's starting the night. If he's turning on the players, that will not help his case at all. If he turns on the players, he's absolutely gone out the door. Because, if he's going to have a go at the players aren't going to start playing for him then, and then we're screwed either way. Honestly. Got to drop 2 points tonight. Joelinton should have done better with his chances. West Brom, Villa and Brighton, our next three. They're just massive games, our next three games, aren't they? Absolutely massive. Been trying to donate for so long, but won't let me. Just try and use the PayPal thing. If you just, you can go onto PayPal and you can send a payment to, I think it gives the option for friend or family. If you take the friend or family option and use that email, ditchy_1276@icloud.com. Michael says, if Bruce is falling out with Jones, that's a serious problem. Clearly, Bruce is unhappy with being shown up at Everton. I just think the pressure's starting to show on Steve Bruce more than anything now. I think it's really starting to get to him. And, if you look at his press conferences and, he snapped in his one on Friday with regards to the smiling with Ollie when he came off the pitch. But, Sickley's right there. Why does Bruce blame everyone but himself? He never says, that's on me tonight. I shouldn't have done this or I should have done that quicker. He never admits that it's his fault. It's always somebody else's. It's the fans' fault. It's the players' fault. It's the grass's fault. It's just pathetic, man. The man is a pathetic man. I think it's time for Lewis to be out of our start line for a game or two. I think Richie will be best option. Yeah, I agree, Michael. Richie, for me, would do a better job at left back. Bruce had got no class, kept it in the dressing room. He's just got no class, full stop, and he hasn't shown this. This is what I get about Steve Bruce. All these pundits come saying, he's a lovely guy. He's got a brilliant personality. This is bullshit. Because the way he speaks about us as fans, the way he speaks about his own players, this isn't a man with integrity. This is a man who's just a tit. This is a man who is inept to manage Newcastle United. He's just the biggest ball bag on the planet because he's got no motivation powers. He's now having digs at his players. He's having digs at the fans. The man is falling apart. He's completely fallen apart. And it's shown in his press conferences. It's shown on the pitch when he's got that stupid pout. Everything for Steve Bruce now is falling apart. It's crumbling around him from all sides. And he's the one that's panicking. But I'm just sick of him blaming everybody else but himself. There's Stephen saying about the Longstaffs. Clearly something's gone on with the Longstaffs behind closed doors that nobody's coming out and saying. Because Matty should have been on the side ages ago. Even Sean to an extent. Sean's better player than bloody Jeff Hendrick. The West Brom game is the biggest game of the season next week. Dino Derby. If we don't win, we're doomed. He said he was pushed to take out Darlow for Dubravka. Yeah, this is what I mean. He can't make decisions himself. He's turning around saying, well, it wasn't my decision. It was somebody else's. And this is what the man does. He does everything but blame himself. He's not even taking responsibility for changing the goalkeepers. I mean, how pathetic does this man have to go? At the end of the day, Steve Bruce, you're the manager. You make the decisions on who plays and who doesn't. You're not pushed in. If you're pushed into making decisions, you should not be the manager. You're not. If you're told what to do by somebody else, you are not the manager of the football club. Have some balls and say no to these people. Pathetic. Oh, God, honestly, I'll tell you what. He was telling Jones to F off. I just hope this all blows up in his face. I really do. I hope he blows off. That comment that Steve Bruce told someone to F off was picked up on Sky microphones. Good. I hope this all turns on Steve Bruce. I really do. I hope this is the beginning of the end for the twat. Al said, did anyone see Jones giving Coco advice and then puckered up his lips, frowned and promptly told him to F off clearly? Well, something's clearly obviously gone on. Lee says, I think he said to Jones about taking a player off or something like that. I don't think he told him to F off. You don't know because Steve Bruce is not a lovely man. Snoop Hoggy says, Wolves were there for the taking and I sick to death of shots being drilled at keepers. Leeds were just as bad. Your keeper cost you and then saved you the game tonight. Definitely more encouraging. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've already said Dubravka should have got a stronger hand on it, but I'm not blaming him for the goal The defending was just rank bad. It was just rank bad from the. It just every single game this happens, man. Quote from Steve Bruce: If you're the keeper, you should have saved it, and it has caused frustration for everyone. But we will just have to concede it. Oh my God! I just want to jump through the TV and just give this man a shake. I mean, come on. You know, why doesn't he go and say why doesn't he come out the cameras and say, look, you know, our left back was beat. If he's going to blame players, our left back was beaten too easy. I'm not sure what Jamal and Kieran were looking at, ball watching and going for the same man. I'm not sure why Hayden didn't see Neves 2 yards in front of him and switch on quicker to mark him and get the header in. Rather than just say all that happened before Dubravka actually had to make the save. He shouldn't have had to make a sudden save. He shouldn't have had to do it. Honestly, man, he blames everybody himself. Do you know what? Honestly, I bet if he goes to the toilet in an afternoon and he's got skid marks on a night time, he'll say that somebody didn't wipe his ass properly. It won't be him. It'll be somebody else. He's that kind of bloke. John says, this is a man who is a tit. Well said, Paul. Thank you. John says, smash the like button, subscribe and donate if you can. Thank you very much, John. Craig says, Wolves missed Raul Jimenez. Without a doubt. Wolves missed Raul Jimenez since he got injured. That is undoubtedly. Was that when Richie was getting ready and the camera showed Graham Jones walk up to Bruce and Richie when then his face looked shocked and walked away? Was that when Steve told him therefore? Possibly. Also, before that, actually, when St. Maximin was down injured, he was down injured for about 5 minutes. He then gets up and walks off the pitch, which takes another 2 minutes. And we still didn't have a freaking substitute ready. Everybody's still sitting with the kit on, and then all of a sudden, he says to Jacob Murphy, you get yourself stripped off and on, son. He should have been ready to come on as Maximan's walking off the pitch. What is that all about? His management is just bollocks. Pure and utter bollocks. Do you have a TikTok? No, but I'm thinking about starting a Toon review TikTok. So just putting little clips of my videos on there. But I've been thinking about doing that, Kaylee. So maybe I might do that. Hope Bruce goes the same way as Lennon. John, not Neil. Yeah, that's a bit harsh, mate. Great stuff, says Thomas. Thank you. Bruce has the air of a dead man walking. He does. And if he's starting to go on about these players like that, he is a dead man walking. Honestly, can you imagine what it would be like if those fans are in the stadium, man? There'd be hell on earth going on. Creased at the skin, Mark comment. No, Paul, love it, bud. Charles Bruce is a competent, useless, pie-faced and cabbage head. I could say a lot worse about Steve Bruce at the moment, Jules, but I'm not going to, because what I've read tonight on here from the comments about what he's been saying about the players and not taking responsibility for his own inadequacy is just bizarre. It's just mind-boggling. And this man will never, ever truly admit to his own faults. This man thinks he's God, right? He walks into Newcastle United thinking he is God, and he is not. He is far from it. He is one of the worst managers to ever grace Newcastle United. And he will never, ever admit to any problems. He will never think we're in relegation trouble. He thinks everything's rosy. The sun is shining bright in the sky every day, and there's no problem around Newcastle United. The man is a dickhead, a complete and utter farce of a man. If he had any integrity, he'd actually say in front of the cameras, I got this wrong, I got that wrong. I didn't have a substitute ready tonight when St. Maximin was injured. Because I'm a knob and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm out my depth. But he won't. If you pass by Steve Bruce in Newcastle, would you smash his face in? That'll do us all a favour. I'm not that kind of bloke. I was on the ice, but when I played ice hockey, I'm not now. I would just give him a glare. I mean, if I was in the ground, it would be absolutely toxic in that ground now. It really would be toxic if any fans were in there now. But to pass it on to the players, you know what? The players could just easily turn around and say, right, Steve, you want to say that about us? We'll down tools. And then where you going to be? This man has to take responsibility for his actions, and he just doesn't. He's an utter twat. Seen someone say Mike Dean is to blame for tonight. Actually, for once, I don't think Mike Dean had a bad game. You know, I mean, I've been very critical of Mike Dean in the past, and to be honest, I wasn't looking forward to him managing our game tonight. But I tell you what, he did a really, really decent job tonight. He kept himself out of the limelight, which is very, very strange for someone like Mike Dean. Kelly says, please start a TikTok. I just might. Emma, love this channel. I'll buy you a pint after lockdown. Keep up the good work. Thanks very much, Chick. It's very nice of you. Luke said Bruce needs to pack his bags and piss off. I'm really pissed off with Steve Bruce. I think that's coming through quite loud and clear now. You know, and I was more frustrated than anything like that tonight after not getting the 3 points. But after seeing all the comments about what Steve Bruce has been saying and having a go at his own players, I mean, this is how deranged the man is. If he can't see how bad the defending was for that goal, he's willing to blame Dubravka, but he's not willing to blame the left back for being utterly clueless, the centre backs for going for one man, and Hayden for switching off. There's nothing there. It shouldn't have even arrived for Dubravka to save. It should have been gone ages ago. Honestly. Jason says, cannot wait for the fans to be back in the stadium. He will wish he was never born when we're enough through with him after 5 minutes, let alone 90. I think as soon as he came out the tunnel, I think if the fans are in that ground, as soon as they came out the tunnel and he took his place in the dugout, he would know how the fans feel about him, because nobody slags off the Newcastle United fans, because we are fantastic people. We are the best fans in the world by absolutely no doubt in the imagination. We are the best fans in the planet. And Steve Bruce has decided to have a dig at the best fans in the world. We are fantastic people, and nobody will speak like that about Newcastle United fans. So just piss off, Steve. All right? Get away. Enough is enough, man. He must be the god of terrible times. Damn right he is. Now he's so shit. One of these days, Bruce is going to get what's coming to him. I just hope it's a P45, mate, to be honest. I don't care about him after that. Surely Bruce can't look at his record and think he's half decent. He does, though. That's the thing. He looks at his CV and thinks he's bloody Arsene Wenger, Alex Ferguson. He's on the same lines as these guys. You know, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho. You know, Bruce is up there with the big boys. At least that's what he likes to think. Lascelles came out and said we should have won that and been better in front of goal. Yeah, I mean, this is where we need a captain to speak up. If the manager's coming out and slagging the players off, this is where the captain has to step up. The senior players have to step up. Everybody has to step up and say, look, we're not taking this shit any longer. You're an absolutely terrible manager. You're setting us up so shit. You know, that we can't score goals. We struggle to win games because of your inept tactics. That's what it boils down to. David says, I feel like he squared up with Jones in the tunnel. Bruce and Jones had to be parted. Again, there's going to be a lot of rumours about this, obviously. Paul used to do a Steve Bruce press conference special. All the shit he comes out with. I know John does one. I might do one myself. But to be honest, the man just pisses me off. As soon as he opens his mouth, I'm angry. You know, I'm frustrated because he talks such absolute bullshit. Bruce is so clueless. Jones is a way better and saved him. I just want Jones for the rest of the season. I want Bruce out. Bruce will be gone by May. He will not want to be in the ground when 10,000 are allowed back in. I want him out by May. I think, mate, to be honest, I just want him out now. And if he's starting to have pick at the players and everything, that's just not on for me. Like, time for players to go over Bruce to Charnley and get him gone. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I think, times are now having to change. This man is just not good enough. Natalie is so bad. We deserved 3 points tonight, man. Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing. Did Bruce ever blame Darlow? Not that I know of. Taylor says if Fernandez was playing, we would have won. I think Fernandez and Clark are our best two centre-backs at the moment. I think we should never have let Lejeune go out on loan. I think he was far better than what we've got. But it is what it is. And we have to just go off what this dick of a manager is doing. John says Steve Bruce lost the dressing room at least 8 months ago. It's obvious. Some of them are still sticking up for him, John, somewhere along the line. Worst manager ever. Yep. We've got about 5 minutes left of the show, guys. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do hit the like button as well. And if you're feeling generous, then obviously the donation button is down there on the super chat. Where is Lee Charnley hiding? If I was him right now, I'd give him his P45. No one knows where Lee Charnley is. I mean, this is a guy who's supposed to be running the club for Mike Ashley, but nobody knows where he is. The man's disappeared with his pal Danger Mouse. Snoopy, bad defending or not, but a keeper of that quality should be stopping that. Lots of positives, though, when you look at a different team. Yeah, there was lots of positives, but you have to take into consideration, Dubravka's been out all season. He's had a terrible injury. This is his first Premier League game back this season. He's had one FA Cup game, which he looked pretty solid in. But the bottom line is, I mean, if you haven't played all season, it's got to be hard. The Mags are the most passionate fans in the world. Damn right we are. Luke says, what I would love to see is a formation of 3-3-4. And why is it that when we don't have the ball, why is all our players in the heart? Exactly. We don't have anybody to create an outlet. And, that's the bottom line. We don't have an outlet at the minute. And if these guys, like St. Maximan and Almiron are going to be out for a while, we have no outlet, full stop. How did Joelinton play tonight? Can't believe Steve Bruce is still at the club. He was okay, actually. He got a few shots in, but the disappointing thing is he should have scored. He got the ball on the penalty spot and, he just side-footed it straight for the middle of the goal, as he always does, instead of putting it in the corner, which could have actually won us 3 points tonight. Apparently, there was a fight between Bruce and Jones. It's picking up pace, this. Time for fans to break lockdown and crowd St. James's Park and protest. Don't worry about the police. They will join in. They probably would. Bruce makes Pardew look like Guardiola. I'd have Pardew over Bruce any day of the week. Any day of the week. Gary Jones, no club will run fans like you lot. Shite. Yeah, whatever, Gary. Okay. You crawl back under your little rock, mate. Where Charlie? No idea. We should start sending search parties out. The reporter even was confused at our tactics in the cell, says, I don't know myself. I'm going to go in and ask what was going on. Well, doesn't that say it all? When our captain's coming out saying he doesn't even know what he's doing, what Steve Bruce is doing there. Charlie probably at his cabin with a stack of porn. Yeah. Cracking show tonight, Paul. Thanks, Carl. Really appreciate it, mate. Tom says, 15th of May, we play Sheffield United at home. We should plan a massive protest outside our club for our manager, Charlie and Ashley. Well, Charlie and Ashley won't be bothered. We've done this a million times before, about with Charlie and Ashley, and it doesn't work. Mike Ashley's trying to sell the club. That's all he can do is we know he's trying to sell it. We know there's a takeover somewhere in the wilderness going on. Hopefully it's still going on. That's what I mean by that. But we don't know. Last couple of comments. Should Dubravka had some games with under 23s to get back in sharpness? Bruce should have thought about that idea. That's not a bad thing, actually, Michael. I don't know whether he's allowed to play or not in the under 23s. I'm not sure how it works with the rules and everything. But if he was, then maybe he should have. But he will get back to his best. He will get match fit again. He will get up to the pace of it again. I am not blaming him for our goal. We conceded. Jules says, Gary, will talk when you're on the same situation. Exactly. Great shows always. Thanks, Jules. Appreciate it, mate. Stepdad told Mr. to subscribe, so I'm so happy. Thanks, Kaylee. Means a lot. Matthew says, me too. I'd take Pardew any day. Jason says, didn't Shearer protest to the chairman to get rid of Guilt? Hullett. Guilt. And next day he was gone. Lascelles needs to do the same thing. Yeah, I mean, but there was different owners at the time, wasn't there? Mike Ashley wasn't there. We had owners who, they took a lot of flack in the past, but they did care. But people like Ashley and Charlie clearly don't. Bruce just bottled Jones in the pub, and Kiko plays in Leeds under 23. So, yeah, he could have played. It might have been wise to, a few weeks back when he was back training, maybe give him a few games in the under 23s, let him get up to that, match pace and everything. It's all right, being back in training, but at the end of the day, it's not a match situation, it's training. And it's a completely different animal when you're on the pitch in a full-blooded Premier League game and a relegation battle. So it's very difficult. Dubravka could play in the under 23s, I believe 3 senior players. Well, there you go. But that's it for tonight. That is the match reaction. Thank you to everybody that's joined the show yet again. It's been fantastic. A brilliant crowd if you're in watching again tonight, and I really appreciate that. I will be doing a review tomorrow as well, and my player ratings. That'll be a recorded video. But the next live show will be Monday night, back with Peter, John and Barry for the 4 Horsemen of the Toon Show on this channel. It'll be 8 o'clock on Monday, but I'll put all that out on Twitter over the weekend. It's there now if you want to go and set a reminder for the show. I'm sure it's going to be a very explosive one. It always is, but it's always going to be a laugh as well with the guys. We do like to make people laugh. We do like to make people have a good time when they watch the channel. So, thanks very much for that and joining in. We'll be looking for you all to do the same again on Monday night. But like I say, I'll be doing my recording of the match review tomorrow. My player rating, so keep an eye out on that coming out on Twitter. If you've liked the show, please smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe and help me build this channel even further. Thank you to everybody that joins in. It's really taken off, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much for that. Anyway, I'm off to have a drink and try and enjoy the rest of the weekend. We've got a point. It's not good enough, we know. But at the end of the day, it's better than losing again, I suppose. But there's still a lot of work to be done, guys. In the meantime, Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night, everybody.
Be strong.